Battlefield 2042 Season 5 was pretty close to being a home run, and I actually really mean that. While I may be someone who has held a long-standing grouch with this game and the way it was released, I can't deny that I've been pretty happy with the direction of the game with Season 5 exclusively. But in true Battlefield fashion, something just didn't quite go right that takes the icing off of the cake, unfortunately. G'day there once again, viewers, your mate Kamikaze78 here, and today we talk about Battlefield 2042 Season 5 and how it just missed the mark. So folks, as some of you already know, I had a chance to play the new content at an early capture event, and it's pretty clear that not much has changed since that capture event. But this time around, I got to play with the new content and balance passes with other players on the map and not just AI, which is obviously going to net a very different experience in the gameplay and the flow of the new map Reclaimed. So let's talk about that first. I already made remarks earlier about how I thought the new map was the best this game has seen yet, and after playing on it with real players, I'm really happy to say that my sentiments remain the same. The points of interest, the flow between objectives, the vehicle to infantry play areas, all of this in aggregate represents DICE's best map creation for Battlefield 2042 yet, and I can see this being a favourite for the Battlefield 2042 community for the most part. Now, yes, it is one of the, if not the smallest map in the game currently. You can only play it on 64 player servers in official game rotations, and the map was designed from the get-go with that player size in mind. I know that there are many in the community that liked the 128 player size and the chaos that it brought to Battlefield 2042, but when you look at what the game had to sacrifice to house such a player count, I personally start to question its value at the end of the day. Maps designed to house 128 players were often designed with huge, sprawling, zero-cover spaces between objectives that led to moments of absolute boredom as you looked for the next fight at an objective. The technical performance of the game also generally took a dump when the servers filled up with 128 players, especially when you saw a good portion of that population converging on a single objective. It would also just become this explosive spam mess that would grind the gameplay to a halt. The new map, Reclaimed, flows and is paced far better by comparison to all of the other maps in the game, just due to the decision to focus on a 64 player server size. And in making that decision, I think we've learned a very good lesson here. That is that more is not always better. I'll be honest, I'm gonna be a little sad when I see the Reclaimed 24/7 playlists go, because it's a map that I'm enjoying so much more than a lot of the other maps in the game currently. In saying that though, I will admit, it can be a little bit stagnant at times on Breakthrough, especially on those final Charlie capture points. But on Conquest, the map handles pretty good, and I feel like many are going to enjoy themselves with that map. So yeah, good stuff with the map all around. I unfortunately haven't had a chance to put the new weapons that are in the Battle Pass to use yet, but we'll be certainly getting some more content out for you guys when I do get my hands on them. So go on ahead and make sure you subscribe for that content if you haven't done so already, you bloody legends. But while the new map is all well and good, and the new weapons that are in the Battle Pass look promising to use, unfortunately, this is where DICE once again finds themselves in a bit of strife. We need to address the elephant in the room with the 5.0 update, the changes to the assault rifles, and the ways in which their spread, bloom, and dispersion mechanics work. If you're an active member in the Battlefield community by any stretch, there's a chance you've seen a lot of commentary around these changes. Some will say that these changes are apocalyptic to the game and the assault rifle category is just now completely worthless, while others are saying that this is the best thing since sliced bread for the game's balance. So clearly there's a big divide in the Battlefield community at the moment, which, let's be real, when doesn't that happen? But before I go putting my 2 cents out there, I actually do want to say that generally speaking, I like the concept of this change and the direction it aims to take the game in. Assault rifles in Battlefield 2042 have long been reaching out and just sniping people at crazy distances with full auto sprays, which is never that fun to play against. Hell, I would even argue it's not that fun to play with, as it limits the presence of a skill curve in your gunplay and just makes the overall game feel cheap to get good at. I know that might be a bit of a hot take here, but that's the way I see it. So when I heard that this change was coming and that, dispersion was going to be increased across assault rifles to limit their effective range and to provide a focus on bursting, I was hopeful for what it would do to the balance of the game overall. Unfortunately, DICE have missed the mark here, despite, I must say, having the best intentions and taking a direction that I agree with. At the time of writing this video, bursting with assault rifles after their changes feels incredibly clunky. At times, it can feel like you actually get no benefits from bursting your weapons at all. You'll feel like you'll take your finger off the trigger, as the game intends you to do so, and you get no benefit at all from it. I'm someone who's been playing Battlefield games for a long time now, all of which, as far as I can remember, have included cone of fire bloom mechanics to help limit a weapon's effective range when under full auto fire, and then encouraging players to burst their weapons to extend that effective range back out again through good weapon control. Players were encouraged to almost microburst their weapons to achieve the best possible accuracy and the best time to kills in previous Battlefield games. And those previous games rewarded those skills from players in microbursting their weapon. In Battlefield 2042, the mechanics around bursting feel almost non-responsive, kind of like they're bugged in a way, as though the game expects you to take a whole second between bursts to let the weapon recover. So microbursting at the moment is completely out of the question here. And while it does limit the effective range of assault rifles by a considerable margin, it also makes them feel just plain frustrating to use at the moment when compared against SMGs and LMGs. It also doesn't do much in the way of adding that skill curve to the game's gunplay. It just kind of forces you to take elongated breaks, because no matter how good you are at controlling your weapon through appropriate bursting, the game just doesn't give you any leeway at all. And I do believe a true priority of Battlefield 2042 at the moment should be in deepening the game's gunplay. So once again, I want to make it incredibly clear that I agree with the direction DICE is taking here with these changes, at least conceptually that is. Some emphasis on bursting should certainly be brought back to the game. I just think that they need to go back and tweak the thresholds for what kicks off the recovery process of a weapon's spread between bursts, and just make weapons feel a little bit more responsive overall when being bursted. I truly hope DICE don't abandon the idea altogether and just roll back the changes without further considerations, because that would well and truly just move us back to square one of the, laser beam central that Battlefield 2042 has been for a while, but I also hope that they can sort out this bursting issue pretty quickly. Despite the changes to the assault rifles, I must say that the Volt assault rifle weapons have felt much better since the update. I've given all of them a go since, but the M16, M416, MTAR, and the A91 in particular, I feel have been incredibly potent since receiving the love in this update. I plan on doing a video real soon going over their best attachment builds given their options have expanded considerably, but that video will be out in due time. I've also got to say that the changes to vehicle loadouts and the lacking amount of explosive spam weapons on some of the transport vehicles in the game has gone a long way to making the game feel far more enjoyable to play over the past couple of days. There's still work to do here for sure, but I feel like we're finally making some strides in the right direction. And there's been a bunch of other quality of life features here as well, such as being able to move your damage number ticker to the center of your screen near your crosshair. I felt that was a really nice change for quality of life as well. Generally speaking, I feel like Update 5.0 and correspondingly Season 5 for Battlefield 2042 has been a relatively good update. It's taken them far too long to do so, but I think DICE are finally starting to find their feet with this game and move it to a position that makes it feel more enjoyable to play. It's still never going to feel like the Battlefield game that it was supposed to be from launch, but then again, when you have a launch that was as bad as this one, then you're going to be playing catch up for a long ass time. But to me at least, it almost feels like I can log into Battlefield 2042 nowadays and actually come out of the session feeling like I had some degree of fun for the most part, and that is a plus worth highlighting, it has to be said. But folks, now I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on Battlefield 2042 Season 5? Have you been enjoying it so far? Do you think it falls flat on its face? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed today's video, a backhanding the like button would go a long way. It really does help out the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you get subscribed as well if you're enjoying the content to stay up to date with future video releases. And as always guys, go check out our other links down below, including our Twitch channel, to catch up with our live streams. Once again guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care guys, have a good one.